Good morning. Happy Wednesday, and I'm happy to be back. Good to see all you guys. Let's see who's in the chat. Mr. Steven Cicero, good to see you, buddy. Rud Puts, Chadwick's Racing, Duke Nukem, good to see you, buddy. Douglas said, good morning, all. Been dealing with Dynex Malin debacle. What a headache. I don't know what the hell's going on in the whole crypto mining space in the last couple of days, so I'm trying to catch up this morning. That's what we're going to be doing, playing catch up. I've just been watching these guys with their mining disrupt stuff. That's pretty much it. So I found out Twitter died, like, I don't know, a couple days ago. I guess it's X now. I clicked on it and the bird's now gone on my save tab at the top of my Chrome browser. So I don't know, whatever. Apparently Twitter's gone, or it's changed, rebranded to X. We're going to listen to some stuff about that. Some altcoin daily videos have some Larry Fink talk. We have actor that we actually listened to last Friday, I believe, the guy from Gotham or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know his name, but he more or less kind of tries to shit on Bitcoin a bit, and it doesn't work out too well. Let's see. I had to back up the Malubs. All pools were being wonky. Moved to Iron until after the 27th. I got you. Yeah, I heard Dynex was doing some sort of transition, but I'm not sure what it actually was. Mr. Regilio, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you being a member. Magic Lucky, what's up, man? Good to see you as well. Let's see who else I might have missed. UK Miners Club, what's up, buddy? Will Wyman, I still need to send your GPU back. I apologize. I have to test it. That's probably first thing on my list at the end of the week, actually, because I need to I have a bunch of stuff I have to do this Friday, so that's going to be on the list, I promise. Let's see. Joker Miner, what's up, buddy? And the Mining King, getting ready to head back to the convention center. There you go. Nice, man. Nice. All right, so let's see what we're looking at over at Coin 360, and then we'll get into today's stuff. So we got 29,000 Bitcoin. Damn, under 30K, huh? I haven't looked at this in 3 days. We have Ethereum over at 1851, Dogecoins at 7 cents, Litecoins at 89 bucks. Damn, that's pretty low actually. And then 69 cents for XRP. I guess could be worse overall. Let's see. All right, so on the week, what the hell is XDC? It's probably the Twitter thing that's blowing this up, honestly, just because of the X and people are not so educated, I guess, in the space. Let's all right, XDCs. Anybody know what this is? I have absolutely no idea. XDC network. I kind of want to know though. Let's see. How do I go over to Coin Market Cap? Oh, sorry for blinding everybody. XDC. How long's it been around? It's been around for a while. Oh, damn. Quite some time, actually. Interesting. XDC network, formerly known as Xinfin network, is a hybrid public/private blockchain platform that combines the transparency of public blockchains rather, with the speed and security of private networks. Interesting. Anybody invested into XDC? That's a new one for me. Never heard of it. All right, let's see. On the day, everything's pretty much down except for Comp. Oh, Casp is up 3.3, Solana's up 3.7, Comp's 12.7. Interesting. Rank 77. So congrats to anybody that's into Comp today. Let's see. Trying to sell the chum change engineered mineral oil fluid. Dude, you want some, bro? I'll give you some. I have 10 gallons of that shit. You can have it, Mining King. You can cook some bacon. You guys can enjoy yourselves. All right. Fear and Greed Index, guys, we're looking at 51 today. Sorry for blinding you all right then. That's Mining King's fault. Blame it on him. Let's see. Top 10 coins over at CoinGecko. As always, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, XRP, BNB, USD Coin, Lado Staked, Ether, Dogecoin, Cardano, and Solana, Tron, Polygon, and Litecoins in 13th. I like to go down to Litecoin just because I like to see where it's at. It's kind of crazy that it's been kicked down 4 pegs in the last like 2 weeks, and the halving's on its way. Mr. Patrick Guyan, what's up, buddy? Boinker, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Actually, this is the first day back, so I've missed Monday, Tuesday, so we're going to go over real quick. I'm just going to listen to the beginning. I'm not going to get into their whole like interview stuff over a crypto world. I just want to hear the news, and then we're going to move on to the next segment. So let's get into this, and then we'll get into this Twitter thing. I want to hear a little bit about that, see what the whole plan is there, and then we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions, please feel free at me in the chat. Without further ado, let's get it.
Today, Bitcoin slides to kick off the week. Sam Altman of OpenAI launches his crypto project Worldcoin, and Will Peck of Wisdom Tree breaks down the company's vision for digital asset trading and tokenization. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Digital currencies are kicking off the week in the red. Bitcoin tumbled to just above the $29,000 level, Ether slumped to $1,842, while Polygon's Matic token dropped to 72 cents.
2 days ago, and it's still the same
All right,
price.
let's talk about the top stories. Binance reportedly knew it inflated trading volumes on its U.S. exchange when it launched in 2019. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, internal messages showed that when Binance launched its exchange in the U.S. in 2019, nearly $70,000 of Bitcoin changed hands in the first hour. But the demand likely didn't come from external traders. CEO Changpeng Zhao reportedly responded to the trading activity by saying, quote, "That was ourself, I think." The SEC's lawsuit against Binance US and
That was ourself, I think.
CZ claimed the firm inflated trading volumes and operated an unregistered securities exchange. We reached out to Binance US this morning, but didn't hear back right away. Next, Celsius has reached a settlement with creditors to help it exit bankruptcy. According to court documents, Celsius reached an agreement over customers' claims of fraud. The deal would resolve about $78 billion in claims by offering a 5% increase in compensation for customer holdings not tied up in the firm's interest-bearing product. Customers originally saw damages over claims of fraud and misrepresentation, but the settlement would allow the company to move forward with its restructuring plan and start repaying customers by the end of the year. Last, Worldcoin, the crypto project launched by OpenAI's Sam Altman, has gone live. Altman pointed users to the firm's website, which touted the network as a way to create, quote, a new identity and financial network owned by everyone. Worldcoin's key feature is its digital identity service, where users sign up through its app, then visit an orb for retina scanning and identity verification. They'll then receive a digital passport and world tokens for the trouble. The technology has been called ambitious, but also faced criticism for exploitative practices in recruiting users in poorer countries.
How do you guys feel about that Worldcoin stuff? I'm not going to listen to the interview they have coming up. I just, we don't have time for that. We're in speed session, catching up on the last couple days. That Worldcoin thing, though, is kind of interesting. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense in a way where, you know, there could be one global currency, but I would assume that we would want it to be Bitcoin, not this brand new Worldcoin AI bullshit. Just saying. It's, I don't know. I wouldn't trust AI with the currency of the world. That's just my opinion, but is what it is. You guys let me know what you think. All right, let's go to the next one. This is yesterday afternoon. No, yes, it was yesterday afternoon. Today's 26th. All right, let's continue.
Today, the UK's privacy regulator starts looking into Worldcoin's iris scanning technology. A new government report says the US lacks legislation to clearly regulate crypto. And the founder of Delta blockchain fund, Kavita Gupta, breaks down what a new bill focused on DeFi protocols could mean for VCs in the space.
Someone just said you cannot buy Worldcoin without a VPN, says Black Sales. Interesting. This is the first I'm
Welcome
hearing
to
about
CNBC's
it,
Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Crypto prices stabilizing after yesterday's losses, but still weighed down ahead of the Fed's next rate decision. At noon Eastern, Bitcoin traded below $29,200. Ether traded just under $1,860, while XRP rose to 70 cents, still holding on to some of the gains made after the ruling in the SEC court battle. Let's talk about some of the top stories. The UK's privacy regulator is looking into the launch of Worldcoin. The Information Commissioner's office told CNBC, quote,
"Wait, Worldcoin? Worldcoin is not available in the US? Why? That's so weird.
We note the launch of Worldcoin in the UK and will be making further inquiries." The office also said that organizations must conduct a data protection impact assessment before any processing that is likely to result in high risk, like special category biometric data. Worldcoin is the crypto project by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, where users provide retina scans and receive a digital identification and free cryptocurrency. The service rolled out on Monday after adding 2 million people during its initial trial run. The project has already faced criticism from the likes of Vitalik Buterin, who raised privacy concerns over how much information someone might be giving away by scanning their irises. We reached out to Worldcoin for comment on the UK's inquiry, but haven't heard back yet. Next, Middle Eastern crypto exchange Rain just obtained a license to operate in the United Arab Emirates. The exchange, which is backed by Coinbase's VC arm, announced on Twitter that the Financial Services Regulatory Authority in Abu Dhabi granted the first license to operate a virtual assets brokerage and custody service to Rain. As crypto companies have been rethinking their strategy in the US amid a regulatory crackdown here, the Middle East has emerged as one of the new hubs attracting talent. And finally, a new government report finds that the U.S. needs clear legislation to close gaps in crypto regulation.
No.
A report from the Government Accountability Office says no federal financial regulator has comprehensive authority to regulate the spot market for crypto assets that are not securities. The GAO also says that Congress should consider legislation for non-security crypto assets and stablecoins. Congress has yet to move forward with crypto legislation since the collapse of crypto firms like FTX last year.
Well, that all makes sense, but yeah, we definitely need some clear regulation. I mean, that's what we've been begging for the past, couple months, I guess. This whole thing, well, I mean, realistically, XRP's been in the thing for about 3 years, right? It was like 2 or 3 years, I think, they were in court for. Crazy, absolutely crazy, but at least they won the court case for now, and I guess there is some news they're going to be getting appealed, so I guess that's one of the videos we're watching today. But either way, let's get into this slowly running out of money. Elon Musk's big plan for X, which is now the rebranded Twitter, is now X. I love Elon Musk. I love that he's super intelligent, right? You know, Tesla, SpaceX, all this stuff that he's involved in, it's changing the world, and obviously, you know, in a good way. I mean, at least I think so. But the rebranding, I don't know why he keeps messing with Twitter. Like, he put the Dogecoin logo on there like 2 months ago, and now he's literally trying to change it to X. Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? You guys let me know what you think in the chat. I want to hear what this lady and dude have to say. I don't even know who this is. This is CNBC, I think. Is that who this is? No, MSNBC. Sorry, MSNBC. So let's I'll leave a link to this down in the description below if you guys are interested. Let's get into it, and if it gets boring, then we'll shut it off. Let's do it.
Elon Musk wants to turn Twitter into the next everything app. And that is why it is not known as Twitter anymore. Musk has officially rebranded the company as X. He wants the app to be central to everyday life with a hand in everything from communications to finance to gaming. So we're going to find out what this is all about with the best man we know, NBC tech correspondent Jake Ward. Jake, I need you to explain all of this to us. First, rebranding the company as the letter X. You've got Wall Street analysts who believe the company could lose billions of dollars of brand value. Not to mention, the letter X on the internet is going to fast track you to a porn haven.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
You know what? As she was talking, I was literally thinking that some poor bastard is going to get a virus because they went to a porn site instead of Twitter when they type in an X. Oh, that's hysterical.
I don't know, Stephanie. It is so, Elon Musk is so exhausting to cover because he is so indomitable about these ideas that to any sensible Wall Street analyst or tech journalist just don't make any sense. The thing that we have come to understand in the last few days about his just mania for this idea is that he's had it for a long time. It turns out that back in the year 2000, during his short-lived tenure as the head of PayPal, Elon Musk went after this same concept, a sort of all-in-one online banking and everything sort of app that was going to be called X at the time. He was so slavishly devoted to this idea that, in fact, it seems to have gotten him ousted from that job, and that's why Peter Thiel wound up the head of PayPal. So this seems to be something like a kind of maniacal return to something that he was really, really devoted to in a kind of a former life, but it's driving him to, you know, as you say, erase billions of dollars in value, wipe out a company whose name has become a verb, right? Tweeting has become a verb. There are whole movie plots built on it. People would die for the kind of brand value that Twitter had. He's wiping it all out, it seems, in service of something that he was into a couple decades ago.
I'm going to put a poll in the chat. I want to know if you guys think if it's good or bad that this whole rebranding thing happened. To be honest, yeah, okay, Twitter, you know, tweeting became a new verb. I get it. It's a big deal. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter personally, but I know a lot of people love it, right? And that's where you get actual responses from companies that may do bad or whatever, but you mainly get the way you or the point across you want on Twitter. That's at least most people do. I don't know if it's really that bad though. I mean, he's kind of seeing like a bigger picture versus like, it's not about money for him. Like if it was about money, I don't think he would change the name, right? I mean, that's just my opinion, but I don't know. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. I want to know what you guys think. Is this good or bad?
Yeah, X already has a very distinct brand on the internet, and it has nothing to do with what Twitter does. But my question is, can he even pull it off, right? He may have had this idea for years, but according to Reuters, there are hundreds of companies out there that actually hold trademark rights to the letter X, including Mark Zuckerberg, who of course runs Meta.
Wait, what? Mark Zuckerberg owns the trademark rights to this letter X thing? What? That's what, like, all right.
This is the crazy thing about it, right? Is that not only could it conceivably, it turns out it isn't enough to be really, really focused on this idea and to have been that way for 2 decades. It turns out it's not enough to have the domain name. He bought it off of PayPal back in 2017. You got to have the trademark, and it turns out he doesn't own that trademark.
Wait,
Lots of other companies.
Why does Zuckerberg have the trademark of X, anyways? Like, what's the reason for him to want that or have wanted that? That's weird.
Companies do. And, if it was just small companies, then you could conceivably, surmise that maybe Elon Musk could outlast them in court, outspend them in court, no big deal. But he would have to go up against Mark Zuckerberg for this one. I mean, I was looking at the patent filing, the trademark filing for X under Facebook, under Meta's registration. It's for everything. It goes on and on about what it could be for on the internet. The transmission of data on the internet, basically under the name X, is covered by a patent registration that Facebook holds. Not to mention Microsoft, which uses X in a patent filing having to do with Xbox. And so you're not going to go up against those two companies and win just by being big and rich. They are also big and rich. So I don't know. It doesn't look like this has a path forward. But the guy is indomitable, and he seems to have been so focused that he blew up a past life on this. So maybe he's going to do that again.
Zuck Markerberg is not going to stand for this.
Markerberg.
But it's not just the name. Can we talk about what he actually wants to do with the company, right? There are these everything apps in Asia that are popular, but he doesn't even have Twitter down pat at this point. And he wants to expand into every aspect of our lives. How does he see that working, especially given that, I don't know, has he fired, a third of the company since he bought it?
Right. I mean, he very much has spoken openly in the past about his admiration for Chinese companies like WeChat, which is the sort of standard issue thing that you use to do everything from, chat with your significant other to buy sodas out of a vending machine. It is an extraordinary app, but that thing took billions and years and thousands, tens of thousands of people to pull off. Elon Musk does not have the time. He does not have the people. He is slowly running out of money. It really does not seem plausible to me that he's going to go for it, but he seems to be going for it in this indomitable way that we've come to get used to. And as we literally watch him tear Twitter off the side of the building in San Francisco, it is amazing to just watch how quickly he is physically and metaphorically erasing the value that Twitter once represented, Steph.
That's crazy.
Indomitable Elon is how we will leave it right there.
All right, we're going to get out of this. Well, I guess shout out to MSNBC for butchering Mark Zuckerberg's name. That's a riot. She said it like, what'd you say? Zark Muckerberg or something? She messed it up completely. Anyways, all right, what do you guys think about that? Let's see the chat. The whole Twitter becoming X is a good idea. 19% of people said yes. Interesting. 28% said no, and 53% said don't care, to be honest. Yeah, I honestly don't care either. It's is what it is. I guess we'll see. He is one of the smartest guys on the planet. So let's I guess we'll just have to roll with the punches and see what comes of it. All right, let's get to this. So CNBC host destroys Hollywood actor heated crypto debate. Debate rather. This is something we watched, the regular interview, I think last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I guess Altcoin Daily kind of rips it apart a little bit. So let's see what he's got to say here. And if you guys have any questions, feel free, throw it in the chat.
Okay, you should talk to this gentleman over here, Mr. Joe.
No,
because
we are
because Joe likes Bitcoin.
I do.
Okay.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Look, vocal crypto critic, an actor who you probably know from the OC.
He's got that face. You just want to, put one of these right through it. Now, after listening to
Ben
this.
McKenzie just got his butt handed to him, bit clapped on CNBC. In my opinion, again, you be the judge for you. As the hosts break down his argument, push back that Bitcoin is not a Ponzi, crypto's not a fraud, and your arguments, Ben, sort of reduce you to the fraud. At least a charlatan.
Ben McKenzie is here. He's known for his role in the OC and Gotham. He's been a vocal critic of the cryptocurrency industry. After delving into the world of crypto and interviewing players from regular holders to Sam Bankman-Fried, his scrutiny has led him to challenge its flaws and shortcomings, and even testified in front of the Senate Banking Committee. He's got a new book out. It's called Easy Money, Cryptocurrency.
And now let's get down to the real brass tacks of this entire interview. This is the reason they're even here, or this guy Ben McKenzie is even here for this fucking promotion of his book. That's what's really happening.
Casino Capitalism and the Golden Age of Fraud. It's co-authored with the journalist Jacob Silverman. He highlights the inherent risks and practices within the industry. Joining us right now is Ben McKenzie. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this interview starts off so normal. But what's different about this time versus him explaining crypto in front of Congress,
much like a multi-level marketing scheme,
him explaining crypto in front of Bill Maher,
you describe it as a Ponzi scheme?
Yes, it's a Ponzi scheme.
is that those people weren't in finance, so they couldn't really push back. And not that Joe Kernan's an expert, and not that Andrew Sorkin's a crypto expert, but they've interviewed so many notable people that they're able to pick apart Ben's arguments. And to be fair, let's give Ben a chance. What exactly is your argument against Bitcoin?
How did you
At the end of the day, I don't think this guy Ben really knows as much as he leads on to know.
first get interested in this and decide that you wanted to go? I mean, you started writing articles about a couple of years ago about this and sort of taking to Twitter with your views of crypto. But how did this
Guys, hit that like button, please. 48 people here, 16 likes. Appreciate you for hanging out.
really evolve?
Well, like most Americans, I stumbled onto crypto through a friend of mine. A buddy of mine told me I should buy Bitcoin. Unfortunately, that friend of mine had given me the worst financial advice of my life.
That is called FOMO, people. That is why he's upset, because he FOMO'd in at the wrong time.
What was the price of Bitcoin at the time?
It's 2021, somewhere between like 40 and 50,000 or something, probably.
Okay.
He said I should buy it. I
Idiot.
said, okay, what is this stuff? I have a degree in economics, and they weren't currencies. I mean, people weren't using them like currencies. They were using them as investments. That was odd to me. I didn't quite understand what that meant.
And you lost how much?
So, number one, Ben McKenzie bought
For the record, he never says how much he actually lost. And yeah, he triggers me too, to be honest, old Vortec.
the top. You know the actor, Ben McKenzie, that's always randomly on CNBC and in front of Congress testifying against crypto.
Keywords actor.
He lost $250,000 essentially on a short position.
Oh, there it is. $250,000. No wonder he's pissed.
Although he'll call it something else. No wonder he hates it.
I'd be
He
mad
sucks
too.
at trading. And
that's
to
great.
confirm this, in one of his recent write-ups, he essentially bet $250,000 that the crypto market would collapse. That's a short position, but got the timing wrong, and he lost most of it.
And you lost how much?
Oh, I know. I hate to disappoint the bros. I was a little early, and I did lose initially, but then I doubled down, which you should never do. And I actually did okay.
You did okay?
Yeah.
So you doubled down.
This
What were
fucking
we
shit-eating grin.
down at? What, 15 or 20? Or I mean, we're back down to 30,000.
Oh, I wasn't like shorting Bitcoin directly. I wouldn't do that. I don't trust the marketplace. It's the marketplace is pretty bad.
That's your biggest concern.
Okay, so he doesn't give any answer of how he made his money back. Did he buy back in? Like, well, what did he do? What did he do to make his money back? He just, he made a book. He made a book and sold it to all you assholes that bought it.
With it, the marketplace.
Well, my biggest concern is regular people who've lost a lot of money.
But number two, all he has stated so far is reasons why centralized exchanges are bad. Why FTX was a scam.
And I just looked at the market structure, which is very interesting. Of course, most of the volume in crypto runs through overseas exchanges. Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX, headquartered in the Bahamas. Binance, which we actually don't know where that's headquartered. They have no headquarters, or so they claim. But there's a lot of shell corporations in the Caribbean that they're affiliated with. So that was interesting to me. So you're talking about an unregulated, unlicensed marketplace, more or less, run through shell corporations in the Caribbean. Interesting.
So Ben McKenzie is about to flex his economics degree.
How much of your issue is around Bitcoin versus the other currencies? Because I could even make an argument that the other currencies are even more precarious, if you will, than where Bitcoin really is.
Well, that's certainly true. I mean, even worse is probably how I would say it. I mean, at least with Bitcoin, theoretically, the number is limited, right? There are only 21 million Bitcoin that can ever be mined. Bitcoiners usually make a conflation there. They confuse limited supply with scarcity. Those are not the same things, as anyone with a degree in economics knows. Scarcity only occurs when demand exceeds supply at the price of zero. So something can be limited in supply and scarce because there's demand for it, or it can be limited in supply but not scarce.
Okay, you should talk to this gentleman over here.
But the reason I say this interview goes off the rails, so to speak, is because they do. They go off script. Joe Kernan, from some prompting from Andrew Sorkin, defends Bitcoin.
You should talk to this gentleman over here, Mr. Joe.
No,
Kernan.
because we are
because Joe likes Bitcoin.
I do, but I bought it at 4,000, and at the time said at the next halving, is it possible to go to 50 or 55? And it went from 4 to 62. So I had a much different experience.
69.
Sold most of it at 50. I guess I didn't have a lot in it.
No, but I read money, and I'm not.
No. And we have Tom Lee on earlier. He's great, smart guy, stock analyst, thinks Bitcoin's going to 200,000. So we have, Kathy Wood, BlackRock wants to have an ETF, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Paul Tudor Jones, Stan Druckenmiller.
Sure.
And just across the board. It didn't take me long to understand how the unbanked could benefit from this. And I also understand the distributed ledgers, and I understand it was only, you say you did a deep dive. It only took me about 20 pages of the Bitcoin Standard to understand that this was probably something that. Do you think all these firms are going to have egg on their face?
So the democratized, decentralized future of money is brought to you by BlackRock?
I don't know.
This guy is so mad. He's so mad because he gets called out.
Now, Ben McKenzie thinks that's the ultimate checkmate. Bitcoin is permissionless, Bitcoin is decentralized. So why would the most permissioned, centralized company want it?
I don't know. Maybe. They may. I mean, if they think it's gold, if they think it's.
Well, Bitcoin's just technology. Bad guys can use the internet, good guys can use the internet. Bad guys would want to accumulate gold, good guys want to accumulate gold. And not that BlackRock's bad or good, but something truly decentralized, if it has value, is wanted by everybody.
The future of money is brought to you by BlackRock?
I don't know. Maybe. They may. I mean, if they think it's gold, if they think it's.
That's why I was. Yeah.
Digital gold.
Right, exactly. And that's why I was explaining the difference between.
I heard that, but
and scarcity.
Very interesting. Ben didn't really have an answer.
Right, exactly, and that's why I was explaining the difference between
I heard that, but
and scarcity.
No, Ben, you were explaining something different. His scarcity argument had nothing to do with BlackRock.
I heard that, but
and scarcity.
A lot of smart people are fooled by it. You think it's going to zero eventually?
No, that's like a. I mean, look.
Where do you think it's going?
Story. I can't predict the future any more than anyone else, but I would say this.
You think it's going lower?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think eventually there will not be something called Bitcoin?
It's a story. It'll last as long as people believe in it.
Okay.
But that's what I'm with him in that regard. It is. I mean, to the extent that gold is a story of sorts.
No, I think it's a real. The 6 or 7 characteristics that gold have are all manifested.
But I think that maybe the most important part of what you've laid out is it doesn't matter if you believe in Bitcoin or any of these or not, it's the exchanges.
Yeah,
if the exchanges are run by complete fraudsters and Ponzi schemes, you're hosed either way.
Right.
Exactly. Great point.
But if you bought any pandemic darling, you lost the same amount as you lost in Bitcoin.
No.
Yeah, you did. Zoom, Netflix was 700, it went to 200. The same percentage losses are across the board in any of the stock market. Look at the high and lows on any of the Meta.
Right.
Just was at 80. It's back to 300. It had already made the round trip. So the percentage losses aren't, even with blue chip companies, you see 50% down.
FTX claimed 1.2 million retail traders in the United States alone. Those people can't get their money out. Celsius claimed 1 million.
Now you're talking about the FTX and you're talking about Binance. You're not talking about the underlying asset.
Yeah, but that's what
the underlying asset is traded through the exchanges.
No, I understand. But you can you don't need to trade Bitcoin. You have your own wallet and just keep
it. That's not how it works. People trade it.
I mean, that's not how it works.
Through the exchanges. That's
and I think it's fair to be concerned about the people who got ripped off by those exchanges.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely. But you don't blame it on Bitcoin. You blame it on the exchanges.
On Satoshi Nakamoto. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be glib here.
Like this video right now if you think Ben McKenzie's a charlatan on Bitcoin. And by the way, Joe Kernan is absolutely right that with Bitcoin, we don't need centralized third parties to trade it. Now, it sure helps. Exchanges make the process so much easier. But Bitcoin 100%. And crypto, for the first time in the digital age, allows you self-sovereignty. Ben McKenzie is reduced to just funny quips, as if he's still in the TV show.
Definitely, but you don't blame it on Bitcoin. You blame it on the exchanges.
On Satoshi Nakamoto. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be glib here. I've spent 2 years investigating this industry. I've interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried, now indicted for fraud. I interviewed Alex Mashinsky, who was arrested last week and indicted for fraud. I've written articles about Binance, the biggest exchange in the crypto industry by a country mile. I have done my homework. If people disagree with me, read my book.
And there it is.
Read my book. Read my book. He's just pushing his book. That's literally the entire point of that video. That was insane. All right, anyways, that guy sucks. Don't buy his book. But this one, buy Bitcoin now. Crypto is about to skyrocket. Here's why. I am ready to watch this one. F. Ben McKenzie. Let's go.
I'm more comfortable being long Bitcoin today than I was 6 months ago. And now we've got an ETF on the way.
Bitcoin is in a bull market. Now is the time to solidify your position. If you plan to buy low in this cycle and sell near the top of this cycle, now is the time to solidify your position, in my opinion. Billionaire crypto investor Mike Novogratz explains why.
Governments love to spend money. In the long run, someone's got to pay for that. And that's why Bitcoin, gold, silver, I put them all in the same bucket. Silver and gold trade great. Bitcoin's got the additional adoption cycle. What drove Bitcoin this year was retail, and they continue to buy, and they continue to buy. And now we've got an ETF on the way. I'm more comfortable being long Bitcoin today than I was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, it was scary. Now we see the future kind of spilling out.
Kind of tongue in cheek. When Kelly Evans says she wants a 2-year at 5%, I go, I would just put it in Bitcoin. I'm kidding around, but I sort of feel the same way with the BlackRocks and the Charles Schwabs of the world.
So when I say that Bitcoin's in a bull market, I mean technically. The lows are in. Very possible we continue to see chop solidation for the rest of the year. And this is the time you solidify your cycle position in this chop solidation, when the lows are in, when the bull market's confirmed. New all-time highs next year, cycle top 2025. I think many people are going to make the mistake and wait to sell their Bitcoin when they think it's the top. Bitcoin hits 250K, they think about selling. Bitcoin hits 300K, they think about selling. That could be fruitful,
and then you hold
but
it all
also
the way
very
down.
risky. I'm planning to scale out as Bitcoin climbs higher and higher, maybe starting at 150K. And of course, my long-term goals are maybe 4 years from now at the next cycle low, I'll buy back in, rinse and repeat.
Now, what do you guys think? Like, what's your plan, right? With the next, or the halving coming up and the new potential all-time high coming shortly after, probably a year or so after. Are you guys going to scale out as it rises, like you just said, or what are you going to do? Are you guys going to make the same mistake, hold it all the way up and, think it's going to go a bit higher and it just continues to pull back and then you're kind of stuck with the bag like most of us were last time? Let me know in the chat. I'm interested to know if you guys are actually scaling in or out.
I'll keep you updated on my buy and sell strategy. I've been making videos daily for 6+ years now. Make sure you see what we cover. If you want to make money in crypto, I think you should subscribe to us and start watching our videos daily. And it's funny that so many big players are investing in Bitcoin, investing in crypto, and yet so many big players still seem very critical of it. The big question is Gary Gensler and his masters still a threat to crypto? Seems like the political elites are still trying to squash Bitcoin entirely. Explain this tension.
You got that on one side, big name, people want these ETFs. But then you have Gensler and the SEC on the other side. Is Gensler, do you think he's just anti-crypto or anti-exchanges that sort of work unregulated? Because that's the key difference. Do you think he'd like to take Bitcoin off the table as a financial asset, or does he just want to regulate the way that it's traded?
I think if this Ripple lawsuit taught us anything, right? Gary has been saying, come in, the rules are clear. The rules are absolutely not clear. The judge just basically said to the SEC, you're wrong. And so, Richie Torres, the congressman from the Bronx, put a beautiful letter out to the SEC, to Gensler, saying, guys, it's time to come to the table for the White House, for the SEC, for Democrats to sit down with the Republicans and give us some damn legislation so we can get on with life. I don't think Gary inherently hates Bitcoin or hates crypto. He did see an industry rife with a lot of fraud. I do think Elizabeth Warren and the progressive side, for reasons I can't understand, have been anti-crypto. And I think any central bank governor gets nervous about something. Larry Fink went on TV and said, this is going to be the first global currency. Well, Janet Yellen thinks that's her job, right? To defend the dollar as a global currency. And so there is a tension. I like to think of Bitcoin as digital gold, a store of value that keeps the tempers or the nerves of central bankers down a little bit. When you start talking currency, they get nervous. But there's that tension there.
So what's the bottom line here? What do all crypto investors need to understand?
But I think, listen, the cat's out of the bag. Bitcoin's not going away. Like, you threw everything you could at it, and it's up 80% on the year with interest rates higher. And so the adoption cycle continues. Big ideas are almost impossible to kill, and this is a really big idea.
Elon Musk, very pro Bitcoin, very pro crypto. He likes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. These are the 3 coins he's mentioned by name. He owns these coins. His company owns these coins.
In general, I'm a supporter of Bitcoin and the idea of cryptocurrency in general. I do own Bitcoin. Tesla owns Bitcoin. SpaceX owns Bitcoin. And then I do personally own a bit of Ethereum and Dogecoin, of course. So
Elon Musk just did a major Twitter rebrand to X. It seems like crypto is going to be a big part of X.
Essentially, if done right, X would serve people's financial needs to such a degree that over time it would become, I don't know, maybe half of the global financial system or some big number. Not sure what the number is, but pretty big. It would be by far the biggest sort of financial institution, not really in the way that people are used to thinking about banks. Just the most efficient database for the thing that is money, least amount of fraud, everything's real time. And if it involves money in any way, it can be dealt with seamlessly on one location.
Think about it like this. Bitcoin produces kind of cool, block after block overall. Unaffected. We just reached a major milestone for the network. 800,000 blocks mined since 14 years ago. Bitcoin's halving is less than 40,000 blocks away. This is when supply flow gets cut in half, a major catalyst for price. Taking a look at the broader crypto market at large, money continues to flow in to the quality projects, and crypto in general continues to build, get bigger and better. There's a lot of value and there's a lot of things going on in crypto, a lot of quality that wasn't around 5-6 years ago. The bottom line is 8 billion people will go on chain over the next decade. Crypto adoption will kick into high gear over the next decade, says Coinbase Protocols lead Jesse Pollack, who predicts the vast majority of people on Earth will come on chain during that span. Quote, "Our feeling is that there's so much growth ahead of us. There's going to be 8 billion people on chain over the next decade." It's going to be really interesting to see how this space develops over the next 5-10 years. We're going to keep you informed every day, so make sure you're subscribed.
Wait.
My question to you,
Worldcoin migrates to Optimism,
is what are your thoughts on Worldcoin? Worldcoin is a VC-backed project that uses iris scanning technology to create a global identity and financial network. It aims to help people participate in the global economy and provide a form of universal basic income, to put it broadly. And the news is that they just migrated to Optimism. Worldcoin, the decentralized ID and wallet protocol, has migrated its operations to Optimism, an Ethereum L2 scaling layer. So in essence, this is kind of good for Ethereum. With this move, Worldcoin aims to prepare for its future launch, taking advantage of the scalability features that its deployment on Optimism brings, including migrating user accounts and bringing Uniswap support to the World app. And crypto exchanges are lining up to list Worldcoin's newly launched World token. Binance, Bybit, Huobi, OKX, Gate, to name a few. Now, crypto native people like Vitalik are warning that Worldcoin has major issues. It will take years to work. We'll see. The most important thing you can do right now, don't
oh, God. All right, just going to chill for a bit. All right, let's see what else he has to say. So this one was 3 days ago. BlackRock Larry Fink goes all in on 6 crypto coins. I want to know about this. I didn't get a chance to watch it, so let's do it. I already hit the like button, guys. This is down in the description below, but let me know what you guys think about that whole Worldcoin thing. I haven't really looked into it enough to know much about it, but from what I'm gathering, yeah, it does seem like New World Order type deal stuff, says UK Miners Club, and I totally agree. All right, let's hear what this has to say. What are the 6 coins? I'm interested to know.
More and more global investors are asking us about crypto.
BlackRock is going all in on crypto. This is literally the largest asset manager in the world going all in on crypto.
It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes.
Not Dogecoin, not Decentraland, not Monero, but certain crypto coins that fit into their investment thesis.
It is wild to see how things have changed and how people have come around to crypto. knowing that they can make a lot of money off of it. I think that's obviously the main catalyst here. But
I believe there's great opportunities, and that's why we're seeing more and more interest.
Listen very carefully to Larry Fink's crypto investment thesis. Pay very close attention to his reasoning here, and then we'll talk about 5 or 6 altcoins that can fit into this.
And as I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is an international asset. It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it's so international, it's going to transcend any one currency and currency evaluation. If you just look at the value of our dollar, how it depreciated the last two months and how much it appreciated over the last 5 years, I mean, an international crypto product can really transcend that. And that's why we believe there's great opportunities, and that's why we're seeing more and more interest. And that interest is broad-based worldwide.
We knew this would happen. I told you this would happen. We were telling you about the merits of crypto long before Larry Fink started investing in it, shilling in it. In fact, when Larry Fink was actively fudding it.
Is it true? He was bitching, or more or less just saying like he was against it. Like nobody wants it, basically.
You're building out a cryptocurrency capability?
No. I mean, we're looking at...
In the back of his brain, he was like, which one of these big assholes told you that we were talking about this?
We're looking at blockchain technologies, and we're looking at all the crypto...
Blockchain isn't crypto. Blockchain is just the underlying technology. Well, don't your clients want crypto exposure?
No. I don't believe any client has sought out crypto exposure.
Really?
Yes.
Give him a polygraph. He's lying.
At some point, they might. Do you need to be prepared?
I don't, at the moment, no. I have not heard from any one client they're looking to buy a cryptocurrency at this time. But right now, I can tell you it worldwide, I have not heard from one client who said, I need to be in this.
If you want to make money in crypto, subscribe to our channel for daily videos. Turn on notifications so you can be among the first to comment when a new daily video drops. So, which crypto coins are worth investing in? Many coins did well in the past, but let's look towards the future. Comment which altcoins you like down below and why you like them. I'll be reading and responding. I think BlackRock is investing in at least 3, 4, 5 out of these 6 coins. Bitcoin is going to 1.5 million, or at the very least 625,000, at least according to CEO of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood. Listen to her updated Bitcoin investment thesis. You know BlackRock is thinking the exact same thing.
So our bull case is, I think it's 1.5 million. The base case is 625,000, something like that. Now, one reason we've actually internally, our confidence has increased towards the bull case is because of what happened during the regional bank crisis in March. What happened? So as regional banks are going bankrupt and the stocks are imploding across the board for the KRE, Bitcoin rallied from 19,000 to 30,000. Why did that happen? That was a flight to safety. That is the insurance policy that we are talking about.
You guys hear that? So like, yeah, flight to safety. She's totally right. Like all the money, well, a lot of money flooded into Bitcoin at that moment when the banks were collapsing. So if that doesn't tell you right there, this shit's going up. I don't know what else does.
That we believe everyone will want at the end of the day. Insurance policy against 2 things: confiscation of wealth, either directly or by inflation, or in the deflation world, what is it a hedge against? Right. It's a hedge against counterparty risk. We won't have an 0809 with Bitcoin. Everything is decentralized and transparent. No obfuscation.
You can hold it in your own wallets. There's no, you don't need a custodian to hold it for you.
Cardano, a sleeping giant in the space. Our audience knows this. I was shocked.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Are you guys into Cardano? Because this is one that I'm not into personally, but I feel like there's so much stuff that like he talks about it a lot, to be honest, Cardano, and I've still never really been interested in it, but I've heard it was, going to be going places. So I don't know. I'm interested to know what you guys think.
Shocked when I heard this clip. They're actively trying to sweep Cardano under the rug. They want Cardano to pay to play. Cardano continues to build. And Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, just called this guy a bold-faced liar and set the record straight.
Circle says that they're not doing or not planning anything for Cardano because there are no developers on Cardano. Or not no developers, but there's not a lot of developers. How come we have an industry?
Your source is a bull-faced liar. Your source is a bull-faced liar.
For the record, I do like this guy, Charles Hodgkinson's or whatever. He's a very intelligent guy, so I don't know why I'm not into Cardano, but there's nothing really specific as to why or why not. I've never really, I guess, invested into that as much as I have into Bitcoin, right? So again, just answer the poll in the chat. I would love to know how many of you guys are actually into Cardano and if you're going to look into it.
The reason why they're not deploying is that the foundation won't pay them the 8-figure amount that they want to deploy. It has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of developer adoption. It has everything to do with pay to play. So it's just wrong. I know because I've been directly party to these things. That's how these business models work. And that's the problem with this industry is people lie. There's 1,200 projects building on Cardano, 100 of which have already launched. We're, I think, number 5 or 6 for all overall blockchain developers. We've absorbed the entire functional programming space. And there's a huge amount of people doing things and building things. So it's just a bull-faced lie to say there's no development activity. We're number 2 for NFTs. That alone should justify a stablecoin because of the transaction volume they can get. It's difficult to deploy on extended UTXO and give all the things that they want to do, like freezing and reversibility. So it requires extra development effort and time to reason through. And B, the foundation didn't want to do pay to play.
They will be forced to recognize Cardano one day, I think.
Cardano has never failed. That's a pretty remarkable thing when millions of people tried to break it and it lived through pandemics, staff changes, markets up, markets down, and everything in between. We're resilient.
See, I'd never paid that much attention to it to know if it has held its I guess its feet down into the ground and stood up the whole time. But yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of you guys in the chat do like Cardano. I mean, well, 45% he is anyways, but there's it's still, I don't know. This might be one that I actually start looking into a little bit more, but I'm not into the whole NFT thing. That's kind of, I don't know, whatever.
Because of the integrity of the process. We won't lose that. We're just going to make the process better every day and eventually conquer the world. So thank you all for listening.
Eventually
it's a pleasure to be here. It's good to be back. And we got some work to do. We're going for number 1.
Polygon is going through major changes. Changes so big, I think the press around these changes alone will send this token. Not to mention the fact that these changes are actually making Polygon better.
Real quick, Fully Electric just said, not interested in it at this time. Too many crazy uncertainty around it. I don't like the fact that they developed the ability to reverse transaction. Really? Oh, that's kind of interesting, huh?
This upgrade is actually going to make Polygon more likely to be invested in by BlackRock or institutions like it. Polygon is getting a new token. Matic will be no more. You will eventually be able to swap your Matic tokens to their new token 1-to-1. Ethereum educator Anthony Sassano explains this.
They have unveiled the new Polygon token, or the POL token, that will be replacing Matic. Essentially, this is a token swap 1-for-1. So if you have one Matic, you can swap it for one POL. This is not live yet. This is just a proposal right now. But essentially, there are a few key changes to the token here. So as I said, it's still 1-to-1. It starts off with a 10 billion total supply, which is the current total supply. And there is going to be a 1% inflation rate to validators in perpetuity. And there's going to be a 1% inflation rate to a community treasury that POL token holders will have a governance over. So total 2% additional issuance every year.
XRP is bankers.
You know what? I actually, I just put a poll in the chat. I want to know what you guys think about that. The holding Polygon or Matic. I actually did until, I think it was probably half a year ago or something. I traded out of it just because I don't know, it wasn't really doing much. And I kind of wish I held on to it, to be honest. But I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Right now, 68% of you say yes. XRP is kind of one of those ones. I'm going to put a poll up on this in a second, but I don't know if you guys hold XRP either, but I'll be doing that. Give me 1 minute. Let's listen to this for a second.
Coin. XRP, unlike much of crypto, is actively trying to work within the traditional framework. XRP just won a landmark case against the SEC, finally giving it legal clarity. You don't think Larry Fink and BlackRock are thinking about XRP just like this?
I'll get you to get your crystal ball out for me if you don't mind. Ripple intends to use XRP for cross-border settlements. How likely is it that XRP becomes the #1 cryptocurrency now that it does have a bit more legal clarity in the US compared to others?
Yeah, well, I don't know necessarily if it's going to be the #1, but certainly looking at the breakdown, I mean, right now as it stands, the big two are Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think Ethereum has about 20% of the market, and Ethereum and Bitcoin on any good day is probably between 45 to 50% of the market. So they are two behemoths still that need to, there's going to be a long way to go. But XRP generally comes in around #3 in terms of trading volume, in and around one of the better known stable coins. So we're still in the foothills when it comes to use cases and kind of the development around the use cases of each of these different tokens. But as somebody who used to work in banking, I can appreciate the issues around interbank transfers, overnight bank transfers, FX transfers, the delays that are kind of baked into those systems. But using something like an XRP token or others certainly gives you a lot around speed and a lot around transparency, which I think is the primary use case that Ripple have put forward with XRP. And full disclosure, we're one of the Ripple partners here for their on-demand liquidity program here in Australia. So I do have a horse in the race for transparency purposes. But yes, no, I do think that it just really illustrates the benefits of blockchain technology and the speed, the transparency, low cost. There's an awful lot there that's worth exploring, both for traditional finance and for potentially crypto investors.
Solana continues.
Interesting. So now XRP, do you think it's going to get overturned if they fight it? And to be honest, if they do appeal that whole court case thing, it's going to take years, or it could take years, right? So I don't know how much, I guess, how far could things go by the time they actually do end up appealing it? Where could other coins take off in the meantime, and then it's like, say they do overturn it and it gets turned around, all these other coins now going to be screwed because everybody followed the whole XRP ruling. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me, to be honest. All right, Solana's the next one. I'm gonna put this poll in the chat. Let's see what you guys got real quick. Are you in on XRP? 46% of you say yes, and 54% say no. Interesting. 35 votes. Appreciate you.
To build and upgrade. Solana is Ethereum for venture capitalists. Here, the founder of Solana talks about an upgrade that will make Solana blockchain much more reliable.
I don't know if folks have heard, but we have actually a separate team from the ground up rewriting the Solana protocol in a separate language. So when there's a memory leak or something like that brought down the network, the probability of it being in both clients is virtually zero. So having two separate clients in the network will basically give us the same reliability as you see on Ethereum today.
Finally, my wild card pick is ICP. I'm
not gonna put a ICP poll in the chat, but Solana is one of the ones I do want to know if you guys hold it.
Tell you why ICP is my wild card pick in a future video, so make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you can be the first to comment when a new video drops. Here, the ICP founder talks about crypto at large, and this is exactly how they're building ICP.
I think Web3 is going to be a very profound and transformative new phase of the internet that will fundamentally change the nature of online services and the nature of users' relationships with those services.
What is Web3? I know nothing about it. Explain it to me.
It's fair to say that the meaning of Web3 is evolving in real time. I'm going to have to describe Web3 from my own perspective. I think Web3 is something much more profound than just NFTs. Web3 is about reinventing the internet ecosystem so that online services run completely from blockchains in new forms, in which users ultimately become part owners of the services they use and part of the team, where these services become tokenized naturally and take new forms, where, for example, social media will blend with DeFi to become SocialFi, gamers will blend with DeFi to become GameFi. These will blend in turn with the metaverse, and so on.
Interesting. All right, let's see. What else we got? What else do we have on the roster for today? So it's actually been about an hour at this point, but we'll I kind of do want to watch one more with you guys. Let me see, which ones do we already watch? We didn't watch this, right? This final warning. Let me see. Nope, I don't think I watched that. Let's see. Let's see what this is. When was this? 11 hours ago? All right, we'll watch this last one and then we'll get out of here. Let's do it. I need to start lying on the... Hold on. What are you saying, Slaw Squatch? I need to start lying on the... Are you trying to say relying on the polls? You're ridiculous. All right. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's go with this. Let's see what they have to say. I urge you to watch this before the Fed meeting today. Wait, there's another Fed meeting today? Like as in today? Does anybody know? Leave it in the chat, please.
Everybody's assuming that quarter-point hike's going to happen. I believe you also believe it's going to happen. Today. But what are you expecting from Jay?
Yeah, this is 11 hours ago, right? When did he say? Hold on. When did they put this out? It was 11 hours ago? Yeah. So today?
Powell's press conference.
If you hold cryptocurrency, be aware. The Federal Reserve meeting is today. And with the market already pricing in the almost certainty of another 25 basis point rate hike, the bigger question is what comes next, and will the Fed continue to raise rates until the economy breaks?
We have a long time before the next Fed meeting. The Fed doesn't make another decision until September 20th. And so we have 2 jobs reports, 2 big CPI reports, just a lot of data between now and then. So from their perspective, they have every reason to really sort of play this as sort of loose as they can, try and make sure they don't commit too hard to any individual path.
So here is where we stand. The Fed is set to raise interest rates to a 22-year high after their June pause. Fed expected to deliver another rate hike as inflation fight continues. The projected quarter percentage point hike would set the new federal funds rate between 5.25 and 5.5%. And let's be clear, looking at the latest CPI data, i.e. inflation data, the inflation rate is now down to 3%, off from near 9% almost a year ago, and close to the Fed's target rate of 2%.
What's interesting, and this will be an interesting case in behavioral finance or psychology that will get studied at business schools for years, right, which is the Fed has never wavered on their message, right, for the past 12 to 18 months. Powell has been resilient in saying, look, we are going to see this through until we get to 2 to 2.5%. Even if you assume inflation doesn't tick back higher, like we just talked about, 3 to 2, that last mile traveled is a really hard mile. You've got to tighten policy aggressively even from here to get us to 2, in our opinion, unless you drop into a recession, which would be disinflationary or deflationary. So we think the Fed probably does have more work to do. That's not priced into the market today, right? The market has to reset that, and that's going to probably create some volatility in the back half of the year. So here at mid-year, we'd kind of fade this big move in equities, this 16, 17%. You know, it's been all on multiple expansion, nothing on earnings growth, which has been well documented. So, you know, what multiple do you want to pay for the next dollar of earnings? Do you want to pay 21, 22, 23 times in a slowing growth environment and an environment where policy is still tightening? I would be careful there.
And there is a difference between headline CPI at 3% and then core CPI. Core CPI is still quite a bit stickier, still at 4.8% inflation.
As you said, 3% is not 2%. 3% is where headline CPI is right now. I think the magic number for the Fed is 4.8%, which is where core CPI is right now. That number that strips out food and fuel, which are a little bit volatile. They're looking at that sort of, you know, sort of more steady state inflation number, and it's quite a bit higher. So I think that's important.
So core CPI is the more important metric. And even just 3 weeks ago on stage, Jerome Powell said this.
I don't see us getting back to 2% this year or next year.
You don't?
No. I see us making progress, steady progress on, this is core inflation.
Yep.
Headline inflation is coming down now, it's lower than core. But for core inflation, I don't see us getting to 2% this year or next year. I see us getting there the year after.
2025.
Yeah.
Core inflation 2%. So you're going to be restrictive for a long time.
Wait, what?
No, we will be restrictive as long as we need to be. But you know, if inflation is coming down sharply and we're confident that it's on a path to 2%, you know, that would be a different situation. You would begin to think about loosening policy. But we're a long way from that. That's not something we're thinking about now or in the near future.
Now, probably the most valuable video I want to share with you today is from veteran trader Gareth Soloway. But very quickly, some of you have been asking for an earnings update on sponsor of the channel XCAD.
Oh, God.
And finally, before Gareth, remember, the risk in all of this is not tomorrow's, today's 25 basis point rate hike. The bigger question is, if you hold cryptocurrency, should we expect a further recession if the Fed continues to tighten and inevitably break something?
So I think pausing for a second. Mr. Who was it? Enzo Mining said, "Do you guys think CASPA is a long-lasting project?" I want to know what you guys think about it in the chat. I'm really not I mean, I like CASPA, but I'm not like a huge advocate thinking that it's gonna go where most people think it's gonna go. But that's just me personally. I don't know. I just feel like it's all gonna be mined out way too fast. That's just my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about it in the chat, because that was actually a really good question. Thank you, Enzo, for that. All right, let's continue.
The risk here, and again, it's a risk, is that in the back half of the year, inflation could actually tick higher. It's not going back to 9%, but it could go from 3% back closer to 4%, which then has the Fed in a very different position. The Fed is not done in July then, and needs to do more work later this year.
And while in yesterday's video, we brought you the bullish narrative, Mike Novogratz explaining why we are in a bull market, but with inflation still high, and with the Fed still trying to engineer a soft landing, although they've never ever done that in history, it's always been a hard landing, Altcoin Daily will continue to bring you both sides of the Bitcoin so you have all the information so you can make the best decision for you. Well, veteran trader, friend of the channel, and founder of Verified Investing, Gareth Soloway, updates us on his reasoning why energy costs like oil, part of CPI, part of inflation, will keep inflation high, and thus why the Fed will push us to more pain.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about CPI data and why everyone's telling you out there that it's going to continue to drop. I am here to break the news that it's actually going to start to go up. What does this mean? Well, it means inflation is going to start to rise again. This is going to make it very hard for the Fed to not only be dovish, they'll likely be more hawkish, but ultimately it's going to make it so they cannot cut interest rates. And that is going to be very critical when the economy starts to stutter later this year and potentially going into recession. Because remember, the playbook for the Fed is recession comes for the U.S. economy, they lower rates and print money. Well, that worked when inflation was under 2%. With 3% inflation and inflation now starting to uptick, almost impossible for them to do. So let's take a look at the chart. Here's inflation. Here's where food inflation is. Notice it's higher than regular inflation. Here's energy. Energy has dropped. This is as of the last CPI data. So energy collapsed over the last CPI data. And again, this is going back for the last year. So this is the kicker. If energy starts to rally, inflation is going to move up. Well, let's take a look at some charts. So let's go right in here. This is oil, guys. So check this out, right? So this is oil. Look at the run. In the last month, this is where the last CPI data came out. The last month, oil is up 10 to 15%. 10 to 15% just in 1 month. Think about what that's going to do for the month-over-month CPI. And then you go back towards a year ago, and we're getting close to the same levels, which means inflation is not going to continue to drop. Now let's take another chart here. I want to go back to my main viewer here. Let's look at this one. This is gasoline. Look at the run in gasoline, up 15 to 20% in the last month. Okay, 15 to 20% in the last month. And look at this, basically at 52-week highs. If you go back to June and July of last year, we were right here. We're basically right back to that. That is telling you inflation is going to move to the upside, or at least stall here at 3%. Lastly, I've got to show you this, guys. We talk about food, right? Food being a key component. We saw inflation in food was still positive versus oil and energy was negative. Look at this. This is the DBA, which is an ETF that tracks agriculture. So wheat, corn, all of that stuff. It's at 52-week highs, up significantly in the last month. And again, year over year, we're at 52-week highs. So inflation is coming back. And this makes it almost impossible for the Fed to be dovish, let alone cut rates when the economy gets into issues. Everyone who's telling you that CPI, that consumer price index, is going back, or inflation's going back 2% or sub in the near future, is BSing you. CPI is going to be stagnant and sticky at 3%, and it likely will uptick a little bit in the next CPI report.
So in summation, with a slowing economy, at least with the Fed trying to slow the economy with these rate hikes as best they can, yet with inflation still sticking around, you tell me down in the comments if you're bullish like Mike Novogratz, like Michael Howell going into next year, or If, like some of the other experts, you're expecting a further recession, comment down below. Like always, see you tomorrow.
Crazy. Well, shout out to Altcoin Daily for all those videos that we ripped off today. Appreciate it. I don't know. That's crazy though. That's crazy to hear everything he had to say. I don't think he's wrong though about all that stuff. What do you guys think? Another 25 basis points today is going to hike it up, because we were they paused it for the time being, and they're, I guess, going to raise it today. That's crazy. I didn't even know there was another meeting today until right now. Anyways, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything's green. Everything's looking pretty decent. That's gonna do it though, guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We have 76 people here, 45 likes. Appreciate you. Let's see, is the Mining King still here? He is. I can still tag him. So Mining King, if you're here, sir, please make sure you do that recording of RFK talking. That would be amazing at Mining Disrupt, because I can't be there, unfortunately, but that would be amazing if you could at least record that so we could hear it, like set up the camera and just friggin' dip. That's what I would do. Mr. Joker Miner, what's up, buddy? Let's see. Patrick Guyan said, Overboard Tech tried that. Both my heart. I hate you so much for making me read that out loud. No, you didn't make me read anything, but Patrick is always on top. He said, we spend $400 a week on food for their family of 4. Dude, food is crazy. And if you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, so like, I have 2 little kids, right? We bought like, there was, when the whole inflation thing started, we buy these cereal bars. They're like Elmo and like just whatever. They're like organic cereal bars for the kids, right? We opened a pack that we got like a couple weeks after they, started doing the rate hikes and all that. And we had a pack from before the rate hikes. And if you open the size of the bars, like you could see, I took a picture of it. I don't know where it is, but like you could see the difference. Like they cut like, I would say probably a ½ an inch off of this bar entirely all the way around. Like they made it skinnier and a little bit shorter, but same packaging, same box, make it all look exactly the same, but they like just skim it down a little bit so you feel like you're still getting the same value, and you're absolutely not. It's wild. It's wild. Shrinkflation, that's what they called it. Shrinkflation. It's nuts, man. Well, hopefully it doesn't affect anybody too bad, and hopefully it doesn't get any worse than it already is, but yeah, it's legit. They legit are doing it, putting more air in the bags of chips, like, shrinking down the amount of cereal in the bag that you get like inside the box, but the box is still the same size. It's crazy, man. And they also took out 1 bar out of the box. Did they? Sorry, 1 bar. I said 1 bar out of the box. Did they really? That's crazy. That's my wife in the chat. That's nuts. I didn't know that. I thought it was the same amount of bars, and they shrunk them. That's so awful. Let's see. Stagflation, smaller item quantity for a higher price. And yeah, dude, it's true. It's so true. I mean, but it sucks. Can't do anything about it. They kind of got you by the balls. Got to buy food for you and your kids. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys all have a good day. And yeah, I guess that's it. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna be back from now on, hopefully. I think we're taking another break at some point in August, but I'll be here for the next couple weeks anyways. So back to regular scheduled programming. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. Sorry I missed the last 2 days, but hopefully you have a happy Wednesday, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace out. And I think I'll be dropping a short video at some point today, maybe, if I can get a thumbnail ready. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Peace. Enjoy Mining Disrupt, Mining King. Later.